You or I do not need to stick to just one app when you are delivering, whether it's DoorDash, Uber Eats, or any other app out there. But it is helpful to favor one app over the other because of the way the algorithms work. The research behind the algorithms is a topic for another video, but in this one, I'm going to talk about why I'm now favoring Uber Eats over DoorDash. First, I want to talk about why DoorDash was my favorite app. DoorDash was the first app I was activated on as a delivery driver, and this isn't a very solid reason, so I'll quickly get into the next reason, but I became a delivery driver and I was on DoorDash exclusively, and I loved driving for it, and it brought me pretty decent money. But the second reason, and probably the most important reason, is that DoorDash has a huge quantity of orders in their system. DoorDash makes up a huge percentage of the market share when you compare it to Uber Eats and Grubhub, the two main competitors in the food delivery space. When I'm sitting in my car in a busy area, there just is no comparison. The amount of orders that flow in from these restaurants to the apps on my phone, DoorDash is the clear winner over Uber Eats and Grubhub and any other app for that matter. DoorDash was also my favorite app because of the low mileage on those orders. Now you're going to be sent ridiculous mileage on all of these platforms, and of course you are on DoorDash, but because they have such a high amount of orders in the system, it leads to you being able to really select the best offer for you, and you can probably find one that has pretty good mileage. Orders in my busy marketplace can often be 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. You could accept orders like that all day long on DoorDash, but because the other platforms, Uber Eats and Grubhub and maybe others out there, you are getting less offers, and so you might have to accept something that is higher mileage. Another reason why I liked DoorDash is because of the transparency that they offer. Now we can get into the lack of transparency later on when we talk about them hiding tips, but as far as them showing restaurant and the drop-off location, I think they do a great job of that, something that Uber Eats does not do. This will make more sense when we talk about Uber Eats. Now let's get into the decline of DoorDash, a huge reason why I started to think that DoorDash might not be my favorite app is that they like to hide tips from drivers. The orders on DoorDash aren't always low paying, but on the acceptance screen, they almost always appear as low paying offers. The highest order that you're going to get for a short mileage trip in my market is $6.50 on the acceptance screen, unless DoorDash decides to change the base pay or hide more than what they were originally willing to up front. This means a $2.50 base pay and a $4 customer tip. DoorDash does not like to show more than that unless they want to incentivize drivers to accept the order because it's getting too close to the drop-off time that the customer was quoted when they ordered the food. This used to be much better for drivers. DoorDash used to hide tips above $6, but now they hide tips above $4, making it harder for DoorDash drivers to select the most profitable orders that they can. On the orders that I accept, I will continually be tricked into accepting a $6.50 offer, thinking that it's going to be more when I drop it off, but it turns out that my average pay per order has actually decreased because when I drop it off, I am learning that a lot of those orders are just $6.50. Uber Eats operates in a similar manner, but it is a lot more fair to the driver than DoorDash, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The second reason that I have seen from DoorDash as the reason why it's declining is the app functionality. This has been a problem for a very long time for DoorDash drivers. The app continues to glitch, but not just glitch, actually crash, leading to drivers and customers without their food for like an hour or two at times. And this happens on average pretty often, about an average of 1 month in the past year. This is so bad for drivers and customers and for DoorDash because they don't get paid for that. The drivers don't get paid for that, and the customers don't get their food that they paid for. The crashes and the glitches of not being able to confirm that you picked up an order or confirm that you dropped off an order, this is just really frustrating that I really don't see problems like this happening from other apps. I used to think that the pickup times at restaurants were pretty good until I discovered Uber Eats and started working for them quite a bit. I remember an offer I got for the Cheesecake Factory. I was already sitting there in the parking lot and I got a stacked order, which means I was picking up 2 orders for 2 separate customers there. The first one was ready as soon as I got there, but then when I confirmed that one and I saw the second one, the pickup time was 15 minutes in the future. And so the restaurant was not behind schedule. It was that DoorDash sent me the order way too early, and I ended up waiting the full 15 minutes to receive the food. That's pretty annoying. It's something that I don't really see from Uber Eats. DoorDash was my favorite, and then it slowly started declining and becoming something that I didn't enjoy as much as I used to. But now let's talk about why Uber Eats was not my favorite until now. I briefly touched on the transparency issue with Uber Eats, but right before that, let's talk about the quantity of orders. DoorDash, like I already said, has a large quantity of orders, not even comparable on Uber Eats or Grubhub. If I was only using Uber Eats, I may be waiting around for long periods of time in between orders, in between breakfast and lunch, or in between lunch and dinner, these slow times in my market and probably most of your markets as well. If I was working those periods, I would just be sitting in my car in a parking lot waiting around for a decent order. Maybe some bad orders might pop up, but you wouldn't want to take those, and so you'd have to reject them and just wait for a decent offer to come to your phone. This would be annoying if I was only using Uber Eats, but in this video, I'm going to say that I'm not only using Uber Eats, but I'm favoring Uber Eats over DoorDash after this change in my mind. I do think that Uber Eats actually has improved on this quantity of orders issue. I do think that with their marketing and promotion, especially in my market, like I'm signed up for those Uber Eats customer promotion emails. I get them all the time, maybe like 5 times a week, saying how I should order something, how like I can get new deals, I can get like 40% off my order. It's happening all the time, and I realize that the Uber Eats aggressive strategy to try to get customers, I think is working for a lot of people in my city. I see a lot more orders today than I think I did 6 months ago, and that is another reason why I should probably favor Uber Eats over the competition. And the transparency issue, the reason why I did not like Uber Eats. At one point on my channel, I even posted a video about how this is so terrible, and I actually stopped driving for Uber Eats for a couple days to a week because I just could not take it anymore, that they were forcing me to accept at least 3 of my last 10 offers before I could see the restaurant and the drop-off location. I was so worried that I just didn't know where I was going. I thought this was completely unsafe, and I decided, I just need to take a small break. And then I realized that my earnings were actually taking a pretty big hit if I was completely just disregarding Uber Eats as an option. I really wish they would change this, because it's only happening to a few drivers like in my market, and I know it's only happening in some select cities, but this is a pretty big problem, and that's another reason why I never even gave it a thought that Uber could be my favorite app. However, I realized that with the addition of Uber on Para, I actually now can see the restaurant on the Para app before I accepted Uber Eats order, so that part is taken care of. That is pretty helpful for me. I have the Para link in my description if you want to download Para if you're having this issue as well, even though I know that's not happening to most people. With these pretty big issues being somewhat resolved, there was actually a lot more reasons why Uber Eats is now my favorite app over DoorDash. I talked about DoorDash hidden tips earlier in the video, and now we're talking about Uber Eats hidden tips. They like to hide tips as well, so the transparency isn't totally there, but it is much better than DoorDash. Like I said, with DoorDash, any tip above $4, they like to hide that tip from drivers so that they incentivize all drivers to accept all orders so that all customers can get their food delivered. With Uber Eats, they do a little bit of that, but it's tips over $8. So it's actually, we get to see double the tip that we saw on DoorDash, now on Uber Eats. And so we can accept the pretty good orders that we know are gonna be solid, instead of gambling on some of those smaller orders on DoorDash, only to be disappointed when we drop it off. Now I know that orders over $10 in my area can now be more than $10 when I deliver it, and then we wait the hour for the full tip to come in. Even if I accept a $10 order going 6 miles on Uber Eats and it doesn't actually end up being more, I still know that I can make $10. But if I accept a $6.50 order on DoorDash, thinking that it can be a little bit more and going like 5-6 miles, and then it's only $6.50, well, that's actually pretty crushing because that might just be a waste of my time. But if it's a $10 order, okay, well, we still made $10 for that one. Uber Eats also incentivizes their customers to tip more on the customer app than on the DoorDash app. That's something I can share at a later date, maybe in a future video, but the Uber Eats customers are incentivized by Uber to tip more than DoorDash customers. Uber Eats pickup times are also extremely better than DoorDash pickup times. Now, when I say extremely better, it may only be like 1 to 2 to 3 minutes, but I still think that is much better because the longer we're waiting at a restaurant, the more that we're not getting paid, because we do not get paid for wait times, not at all at restaurants. So I would rather have the order be sitting there on the counter or on a shelf waiting for me to pick it up than a restaurant employee to be finishing bagging it up, because even if it's only like 30 seconds to a minute, that's still time that I'm wasting. Maybe that is a light that I didn't hit on the way to the customer. Maybe that means I just have to wait around a little bit longer and I can complete less orders in a long shift. Even if you're only able to complete 1 or 2 more orders in a shift, that is still more earnings in your pocket. And of course, the app functionality of Uber Eats, it is so much better than DoorDash. I haven't heard of any major glitches on Uber Eats. I've only been driving for them for like just over a year, but I still haven't had a huge problem where drivers are not able to complete orders for hours at a time. And also the little glitches that you see on DoorDash, it just does not happen on the Uber Eats app. I have had like very minor glitches. Okay, so you force close the app, you open it back up and it's completely fine now. But with DoorDash, sometimes those weird glitches can take like 5 to 10 minutes to resolve. I will still continue to use DoorDash pretty much every single shift where I'm doing food delivery. But now I know for the short-term future which app I will be favoring over the other. If you want to learn more about Uber Eats, I have a full playlist right here for you to click on. Thank you so much for watching this, and don't forget we're doing a giveaway at the end of this month of September. The full details will be in the description of this video. Make sure to comment on every video in September, and make sure to be a subscriber of the channel. Thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you tomorrow.